everybody. Today I'm going to teach my 11-year-old sister the basics of tennis strokes, complex parts of tennis strokes, and some strategy for her to improve her tennis game. Tennis isn't all about strokes and how you hit them. A big factor of tennis is you're using your mind on the court. When I play my matches during warm-ups, I like to find my opponent's weaknesses so I can exploit them during the match. Today in tennis, the majority of juniors have weak net games. This is why it is a good strategy to lure them into the net using a drop shot or a low slice. So when you bring your opponent to the net, there's two main things you want to do. First of all, you can either lob your opponent. The second thing you can do, pass them with a hard shot. Now, out of that, there's two possibilities you can do with that hard shot. You can either go at them if you feel like they're unprepared with their racket down. This is the kind of stuff you want to watch. You want to see if the racket is up or if the racket is low. If it's low, they're unprepared. Or if you see they're prepared, you want to go for generally a shot cross court, more consistent, or you can go down the line for the passing shot. And that's how you win the point. To execute this perfectly, first we need to understand how to drop shot. So first of all, a drop shot needs to be a disguised stroke. You want to have front, be ready, and then turn as if you're going for a forehand or any other stroke. And then when they don't expect it, you go high, low to high. Nice touch on the ball, gently over the net to surprise them, completely throw them off and bring them into the net. And then there you can do your either lob, make them retreat, which can win the point, or you can pass them there. The next strategy to consider in your tennis game, Liliana, is angles. First of all, an important time you need angles is serves. If you have people serving way out wide to the left, you want to meet their angle so that they don't get an easy wide serve out to the right and you miss and they ace you. So you want to meet their angle. Same thing if they serve in the middle next to the center hash mark. You want to meet their angle so they can't go straight down the tee with an easy ace. The second thing you need angles for is volleying. It's very important when you volley that you need to cut the angle off of your opponent when you approach the net. So to begin, you want to approach the net with a strong shot, a strong shot that you're confident will put the opponent on the run. Then when you are at the net, you want to see where the opponent's position is on the court, and you want to cut the angle off. If the opponent's way off to the left, way out wide, you want to cut off their down the line shot, because when you're out wide, it's easy to have it easy around the post down the line shot. But if you cut it off, they have to go for a very, big obtuse shot, very wide, and that's very hard to get. So angles is very important. Also, in your ground strokes, you want to have angles too. You don't want to always stand in the middle if you see a guy or a girl way out wide hitting shots that make you move constantly and just destroying your stamina. The next strategy you need to consider and practice on is moving the tennis ball around and controlling your opponent. When you're playing tennis, you don't want to just swing and hope the ball goes in, not worrying about where it goes. When you're on the tennis court, it's not all about power. You want to control the ball more than anything. You want to move an opponent there, move them back the other way, tire them out. Look at the direction of their feet. If you see the opponent is going in a certain direction with their feet, you know that it's very difficult for them to suddenly just change direction. So if you hit an opponent down the line shot, and then you see them running all the way to the side with their feet pointed that way, you can hit them another down the line shot to throw them off. This would completely just destroy your opponent's stamina and then allow you to do something like a drop shot, and that would probably be it. If they do get that, then you can finish it like you did earlier with the lobs or the put away. So moving the opponent around is so important because that's how you win the game. Yes, there's some shots you can hit that are like very lucky, hard forehands down the line. Yeah, but that's so risky. You don't want to do that every point. You want to be smart. Everything on tennis is mainly about using your brain on that court. You have to know how to move them around, when to move them around, and what to do when you move them around. So serving is not very important too. When you serve a hard ball, if you see that the opponent is off, you always want to approach, or at least play a more aggressive manner if you don't approach. When they're serving, if you see that they miss their first serve, which is common among juniors in today's tennis. You want to be more aggressive on that second serve, but you never want to be over aggressive. You always want to be in the middle. You want to evaluate every point and use your brain on the court. Next, I want to talk about serving and serve placement. So first of all, you serve depending on your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. First of all, if your opponent is a right-handed player and their backhand is clearly weak, which a majority of people have weaker backhands than forehands, then you usually want to serve up the tee to throw them off, because it's hard to return a ball with a full-fledged backhand every return. So that's the first thing you need to know. Serve to where their weakness is. Also, serving isn't always about speed. It's more about control where you place it. So for example, if you're always serving really hard, you're not always going to be able to hit those placements, and you might double fault more often. But you don't want to serve too soft either, because then that'll allow the opponent to be very aggressive and put you on the defensive side. You never want to be on the defensive side always. You always want to be the aggressor. So, for example, if you find an opponent that's very bad footwork, very slow on the court, doesn't react well, it's good to always throw in like a small little serve, even like a drop serve, like a tap, like underhand serving over the net, just to throw them off every once in a while. And yeah, it seems like a trick shot, but it's smart to do something like this, to just completely throw your opponent off and make them lose all their endurance. That's another thing you need to consider in your tennis game. Overall, tennis is a very complex and complicated game. It's not a game of power or all about your strokes. It's a game of everything. It's a game of using your mind on the court, strategy, power, how well you hit your strokes, the art of it, the style, how you move your opponents around. It's a very complicated sport, and also another very important factor of it is sportsmanship. So Liliana, when you play a match, first of all, you always want to shake hands after the match. But that's an obvious, that's a given. During your match, you never want to be disrespectful to your opponent or mad or throw any tantrums after you miss a shot or if anything bad happens on your side. You always want to be very respectful, as tennis is not just for you, it's for everybody in the audience, everyone watching, entertainment purposes, to show off two people competing in a duel to see who wins and who's the better opponent, using style and art. No one wants to see angry tantrums or anything. That's one thing to consider. So overall, tennis is very complicated, complex. Today I have discussed some strategies with Liliana to help her tennis game improve, put some food for thought, and allowed her to learn the game of tennis better.
Thanks, Chris, for those very important tactics. I will be sure to use them on the tennis court.
You're welcome.
The two most important things I learned today was sportsmanship and patience. That will make me a better tennis player. I can't wait to beat you on the tennis courts.
Liliana, I think you will become a much better player. I think you will become one of the greats. Good job. High five.
All right, Lily, so how was your lesson today that your older brother Christopher taught you? What did you learn from it?
I learned strategies for different strokes and where to place different balls, because the way you play is not just about your strokes, it's also about your strategy.
Wonderfully said. Yeah, Christopher, I know many times over the past year or two, this is the wonderful cat.
This is Roger.
His name is Roger.
So Roger Federer's in the house.
Named after Roger Federer. Christopher, numerous times over the past year or two, you've indicated that Liliana could be a wonderful tennis player. What are some of her key assets that you see in her?
I see that she's very athletic, first of all. And I know at school, she beats everybody in races. Basically, she's probably like one of the most athletic person in her whole school. Also, I know that she's got a nice strong forehand. She likes playing aggressive, so she's like very strong with her shots. Her serve is starting to develop too. She's good footwork. She just has to work on getting to the net quicker and developing more of a tennis footwork. So that's her only problem, I'd say.
All right, Mom Carla. I obviously see a lot of Liliana coming from you. I know that sometimes attitude on the tennis court can be a real issue if we don't channel it correctly. How could you channel her energy in a positive way instead of letting her channel it in a negative way?
Well, I say anytime any student is upset or anything, well, why not fight? Bring it as a positive instead of getting mad at yourself. Well, get mad at the stroke. Hit the ball harder. Try something different. Try a different tactic. Isn't that what you guys were talking about? Tactics, strategy. Try a different strategy instead of getting angry. Negative attitude will bring any player down. It will not help you in the game. So channel it in a different way. Use the advice your brother gave you. Tactics, strategy, right? Be patient.
All
That's all
right.
I can think of.
Gabriella, the youngest of the daughters, is there any advice you could give your older sister Liliana, moving forward?
Like, what did she do? Like, how she could be better?
Whatever you think.
I think the other did great,
Think right?
except she
What do you think she could do better on the tennis court?
what she could do better on the tennis court is if she could listen
Listen more? Okay.
and move her feet more.
Move her feet more. Good advice. Yeah, good advice.
All right, so the 7-year-old says to listen and to move her feet more. I would give my advice to this 7-year-old to speak a little bit louder. But nonetheless, I think you did really good. All right, Jonathan, obviously you're fixing to leave the house and you're going to be heading into the Air Force Academy. Congratulations, by the way. Obviously that came from hard work. If you could tell your second youngest sister some advice moving forward, what would you tell her?
Just in tennis,
Anything, in life in general.
anything, just you have to dedicate yourself to whatever you're doing, no matter what. If you don't have the dedication or fight to go through with it, then you're not gonna make it through. There's no purpose, no drive for you to actually get through everything. In tennis, drills are just a part of it. You have to learn how to cope with it and get the best out of it. It helps you develop your strokes, it helps with everything. And once you learn how to cope with drills and then learn how to take those skills from drills into matches, then that builds your game and it builds a future for you if that's what you want to do. It all takes motivation and dedication.
Can I ask you one question? How far do you think excessive pouting will get you at the Air Force Academy?
Nowhere.
Nowhere. All right, little young Justin here. Is there any wisdom you would like to share with your older sister here? Dino? Anything? All right, he's remaining passive. But we love you anyway. Can I get a fist pump, please? Boom. Big time. High five, maybe? All right, we'll get a slide five. All right, grandfather, share thoughts and insight with Liliana.
Well, I'm very proud of both of these young children. I thought the teaching was excellent. I thought your review of what the lessons taught today was also just first rate. Tennis, as was reported a couple of years ago, confers about a 10-year longevity advantage over non-tennis players. And part of the reason I think good habits of health, good habits of thinking. And I think that review emphasized just those things today. So thanks to both of you.
All right, so last but not least, my take. And sometimes my take I think is the hardest take. But at the end of the day, Lily, you have the brightest gifts. You're super strong like your mom. You have great feet. You have happy feet. You can move the feet. But when you pout, it all goes downhill really quick. So to all of our students out there, and there are some other pouters out there, please understand that I or we deal with pouting in the same way, whether it's male or female or a young player or senior player or anywhere in between. There's just really no room for it. But what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. I think you and Chris did a phenomenal job on your video, first and foremost. But number two, I can only stress one thing. Work hard, practice, and I think there was a cup that my father got all of you. And I think on that cup it said never, ever, ever, ever give up. I think it said something along those lines. Okay? There's been multiple times in my life where I could have given up. I can promise you, given up, the heck with this, I'm done, I quit. But we find that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and the less we pout, the better we get. So you did absolutely incredible, and Chris doesn't even like the camera, and pulled it off well. All right? Fist pump, and Lily, love you to death, but the pouting, done. All right? Hard work pays off, and that's how we're going to be. All right? That's it.
Good work.
Yeah.